We had to scrap our entire Thursday show because there is massive buzz out there. Sherrone Moore has activated NIL, and one Michigan football celebrity is going after a quarterback with a $2, $3, maybe more $1 million offer. I think it could be Bryce Underwood. We'll tell you all about that here in a moment. But make sure you guys subscribe to the Michigan Football Report, the most consumed Michigan football show on any platform. We're talking YouTube, podcast, radio, TV, etc. If they're giving out Oscars, Jack, big movie guy, we were just talking Oscars before the show, Jack. I think we would win Oscars for Michigan football shows. We would win Best Picture, Best Show, whatever you want, every single year, at least last few years. It is the Michigan Football Report with Young Harbaugh. I am James Yoder. Let's get it going right now. Barstool Sports founder Dave Portnoy set the internet on fire last Thursday, saying that he would give maybe up to $3 million on the Barstool College Football Pickup Show to a quarterback to come to Michigan, making sure Michigan's got, he said, a top 10 quarterback every year. This time he says this: I talked to Sherrone. This was today. I talked to him. I have his number. We talked. He told me to get one guy I've got to talk to, right? This is key. He told me the one guy I've got to talk to. I've not talked to that person. I will, and then we will see, right? Let's dive into this story because there is all kind of buzz. The blog boys are putting out there. People send me screenshots on what Sloppy Sam is saying about the situation, etc., etc. So we've got a lot to talk about. I'm going to tell you why it only makes reasonable sense that it can and is most likely Bryce Underwood for Michigan. But before we do, Jack and I want to show you guys a little something. All right, Jack Harbaugh, maybe it is. Young Harbaugh, Jack Latteray. Jack Harbaugh is Jim's dad. We've got something to display. So got a partnership with a jersey maker. We're getting a lot of stuff done for our office, etc. And they said, hey, maybe we can show some love to some of our favorite members of our audience. So I will display mine first. Boom! John Blaze. We're wearing them backwards, right? These are Michigan football jerseys. We are wearing them backwards to show love to the name. Maybe John will send this off to you, number 23, because you were part of the 2023 show national championship year. Jack, who you rocking?
I am rocking someone that helped me get to Houston, was a big part of the Send Jack to Houston fund. Ashley Lawson. Let's go.
Ashley Lawson, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for supporting Jack. Send Jack to Houston. Now, we've got some other ones. Might get some more in the future, but I'm going to show you guys the rest of these. Hope everyone's still watching, right? We haven't done live shows in a while, but John Blake, here's what the jerseys look like, right? At the front, it's got the national championship patch and everything, and then, boom, how about some guy, right? Another one, boom. Jim Prindable, right? Jim Prindable in the house. So much thanks to all these folks. Next up, we got strike three. All right, strike three, we got one for you. Wolverine, Alaska, Michigan Football Report legend. And last but not least, Steve Reichard. We mispronounced it during the year. He said, our friend Steve, right? That's what we end up calling him. So got 7 of those jerseys made. Just showed you 5. I'm wearing John Blaze. I'm just going to rock this the entire show. Jack has got Ashley Lawson. Here's what Portnoy said last week, all right? He said, well, I'm going to be the quarterback guy for Michigan. You just say, Dave, you go. I'll talk to Sherrone. Who do you guys want? Who's in there? Give me a group. I'll go get them. I will sign them, right? $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, whatever it is, $1 million, $2 million, whatever it is. And then he goes, $3 million? And that's maybe what it's going to take to get one of the biggest quarterbacks, right? Now, he says, Sherrone gave me one name, right? And I haven't talked to him yet. I'm going to talk to him, right? And so it's got to be Bryce Underwood. And why do I say that? Because Michigan has, one quarterback coming for this 2025 class, and that is Carter Smith. They've got another quarterback, Brady Hart, one of the great names of all time, for the 2026 class. People are really high and excited on him. And Michigan really isn't going to, Sherrone Moore is not going to activate Dave Portnoy to go try and recruit a quarterback at another school right now to come in the NIL, transfer portal through an NIL deal. That is illegal. Michigan's already under enough fire from the NCAA. So I'll keep rolling on this. But I want to show some love because I know Bryce Underwood's parents have watched this show in the past. So let's make this one of the most liked videos this show's ever had. So like the video, show some love to Bryce Underwood. I'm going to email the link to this video to his high school coaching staff. Say, hey, look, take a look at the likes, right? Take a look at the last 5 shows. Hopefully, the Bryce Underwood show here is getting the most likes. Show Bryce the love. Hometown kid, 21 miles away from Michigan Stadium is where he lives. Now, why does it have to be Bryce Underwood? Let's continue on this, right? It can't be a quarterback at another school, right? There's no way Sherrone Moore would have got on the phone with Dave Portnoy and said, hey, go talk to this quarterback at Kansas State or Utah, anywhere like that we want, that we know. Go talk to C.J. Carr, freshman Notre Dame. Well, he's not going to do that, right? Because it's just too public. Portnoy, he's not going to trust him not to boast and brag about that if Michigan did get that. Well, when you start talking to him, I made an offer back to him back in October. Oh, so you were activated by Sherrone Moore, went back and started offering guys who were at other schools before the transfer portal opened. Can't happen. So it has to be a recruit. Has to be an instant impact recruit. Has to be a recruit that Michigan thinks the only reason they lost out on was because of an NIL deal. And if you follow along with this recruit all the way last year, all the way through January, and still from there and beyond, you know that the buzz has been out there that Michigan lost out on Bryce Underwood because LSU made him an offer that he couldn't refuse, millions of dollars in guaranteed NIL money, a house for his parents, maybe even jobs for his parents, travel back and forth from Michigan, even potentially relocating his family down to Baton Rouge while he is ideally, in their minds, the starting quarterback for LSU. We've got more to talk about in the situation, a lot more, but is there a second media brand, right? Is there a second media brand out there that is offering to put up an additional $1 million? So if Portnoy is willing to go to $3 million, this media brand is rumored, and we're going to clarify what these rumors are, to go up to $4 million. Add another $1 million to the pie if Portnoy puts his $3 million, if it lands Bryce Underwood at Michigan. And I'll tell you what, Jack, I have been getting full lately. I've been getting full? That's because I have been using our sponsor, Factor Meals. Football season is here. I spend a lot of time in the office during football season, Jack. We're running a company here. We got the Michigan Football Report. We got 35 other shows here at Chat Sports. I can't be at home cooking all the time. Thankfully, I've got Factor to help me stay full even on game days. Fuel up with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. Meet your wellness goals in time for football season, in time for the holidays, in time for whatever you want to meet your wellness goals for. Thanks to the menu of chef-crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to enjoy nutritious, great tasting meals. I've said this before. If you've seen us do a Factor ad read, if you're a guy, if you're a gal, whoever it is, and you're not cooking an elaborate meal for a family, or someone's not cooking you a meal when you come home, get going with Factor. It's awesome food. It tastes great. It gets delivered to you. Boom. You microwave it for 2 minutes. It is fresh. It is nutritious. It is healthy. And you will be absolutely satisfied. I love Factor meals. The first time I got my first delivery, I was absolutely shocked how good and how easy it was to prepare this food. Head over to factormeals.com/MichiganChat50. That's factormeals.com/MichiganChat50. The link is down in the comments and the description of today's video. Use code MichiganChat50 to get 50% off your first box, plus 20% off your next month. Remember, code MichiganChat50 at factormeals.com/MichiganChat50. Click it down in the link. Click the link down in the comments as well. 50% off your first box, plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is still active. All right, so let's talk about this other deal, right? Jack, you've heard the rumblings, right? You've heard the rumblings in the office. I think there was kind of some back channeling amongst the staff here at Chat Sports. And we're here to say it is true. Before we reveal who the NIL offer is from, let's just talk about why Bryce Underwood would flip, right? I get the allure of LSU, right? They've had 2 Heisman Trophy winners in the last, 6 seasons of college football, 2019 with Joe Burrow, 2023 with Jaden Daniels, who became the second pick in the draft, having one of the best rookie quarterback years of all time through 4 games so far this year. But if he came to Michigan, right, based on what we know on Jaden Davis, and we're going to talk about that here in a second, Jaden Davis, so make sure you stick around for the rest of the show. I believe there's no question at all that he would be the starting quarterback at Michigan from day one, given that we'll be halfway through the season on Saturday night. And what we've seen from quarterback position, Bryce Underwood, probably the best quarterback in the state of Michigan history, number 1 in every single one of these rankings, except Rivals.com, whoever the hell knows what's going on with them anymore. They still exist. They have him as number 2 overall players. But how about this? Family and friends. They don't have to fly all the way. Even, Jack, even here in Texas, going to an LSU game, that's like a 6.5-hour drive. There's no hotels. It's tough to get to Baton Rouge, right? What are you going to connect somewhere through St. Louis to get to Baton Rouge? You got to fly to New Orleans and drive 2 hours. It is not easy. And I don't think you're going to want your friends, your high school coach, etc., maybe aunts and uncles, to have to do that for every single game. But how about this? Michigan is a top 2 brand in the Big Ten. I think after the last 3-4 seasons, you could say they've elevated themselves to the number 1 brand in the Big Ten, at least for now. We'll see what happens in the future. But unquestionably, all-time Michigan and Ohio State are the top two brands. Michigan's the defending national champion right now. They're the biggest brand in all of sports coming off that last 3-year run. What do you call LSU, Jack? I mean, Brett and I talked about it. I said, at best, I could give them, at best, number 5 in the SEC. I think taking in all factors, current status where they're at right now, let's just say last 2 to 20 years, and then historically the entire programs. I've got Alabama 1. I've got Oklahoma 2, even though they're not up there right now with these other teams. I've got Texas 3, the 2 new guys in the block. I've got Georgia 4, and that's probably only because they've won 2 national titles this decade and have kind of had an 8-9-year run that's up there with some of the best in college football history. And then you've got number 5, LSU, probably. But I think a good argument could be made, all factors being considered. Florida, right? It's won 3 national titles in the last 30 years. The last 12, 13 years haven't been that good themselves. But Florida could certainly be considered. I don't think necessarily Auburn is up there. But there are certainly there's no question in my mind that LSU is not a top 4 brand in the SEC. Michigan is unquestionably number 2, even with USC coming on, even with Penn State, even with Oregon. Michigan is 1 or 2 in college football. And then $3 million per year from Dave Portnoy. Maybe it's an ad deal with Barstool Sports. Maybe they give him a show, write some ad deals, etc. Jack, you know who else could do that? Jack? Chat Sports could do that. We could do that, right? We made an offer to Jaden Davis. They didn't take it off on it, right? That was a $100,000 offer for a 6-star in our book, but I think other people, he had him with a 5-star early. He ended up being a 4-star in, I think, all the rankings. But let's up the ante here, folks, right? If Portnoy goes to $3 million, right? If he taps out, for his $3 million, we will add $1 million to bring it up to $4 million. But it doesn't come with just no strings attached, right? I don't believe in a free lunch. So, Bryce Underwood, if you take the $1 million from Portnoy, Barstool, the $1 million from us, it comes with strings attached. Now, we have one person at Chat. We've got a lot of really great hosts, but we got one guy at Chat Sports that made $50,000 in 1 month over the summer in July, Jack. More than $50,000 from audience donations, super chats. You guys know what we're talking about if you watch live shows on YouTube. And I think we can do that with Jaden Davis, right? It's going to take some great audience. It would take, Jaden Davis, Bryce Underwood. It would take some great audience. It would take some great sponsors, but it would also take a commitment from the Michigan Football Report audience that, hey, we're going to get a bigger, we're going to grow this channel. He's going to be on. We're going to do a post-game show after every game, and then we're going to do a show maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of every single week, live programming here on YouTube. We're going to get $100,000 a month. We'll round up, maybe round down. We're going to get to $1 million a year. That is the offer to Bryce Underwood. If Portnoy can go to 3, we'll commit to 1 as long as the strings, of course, the NIL, the name, image, likeness, is that we do the Bryce Underwood Show, your exclusive media rights here on YouTube. You're not doing any interviews with the blog boys. You're doing all your interviews here on the Michigan Football Report. So I want to know from you guys, if it took $1 million extra to get him, to land him, right? And I said, I need a bunch of our audience to commit to, donating some money to make sure we can pay for this. Would you commit $20 a month for 3 years to land Bryce Underwood at Michigan as the quarterback? Comment yes or no down in the comments. I just want to see where you guys are at. Are we going to have to point up the entire thing, or can we, count on the unbelievable number 1 fan base in all of college football? That's Michigan football fans, and the number 1 fan base on YouTube, of course, the Michigan Football Report. Let's address the viral Jaden Davis clip. Jack created it, put it out. It's got like 300,000 views on Facebook. It's got like 100,000 views on Twitter, 100,000 views on TikTok. It's got like 30,000 views on Instagram, etc. So we're talking like 500,000 plus views, maybe even 600,000, 700,000 by the time we publish this video. Jack took a clip from Monday's show. Right? Monday's show was Overreaction Monday. I said an overreaction number 5 from the audience and the fan base, etc., was to start Jaden Davis. Give him a shot. And I gave reasons why I'd like. If they don't, I've got some questions. Jack, roll that clip. What does the future hold at quarterback, right? What does his future hold at Michigan? Because this is as bad as we've ever seen it. Name me a quarterback at Michigan that ended up being a starter and say, hey, could he have started this year if he was a true freshman? If you absolutely, had the same quarterback situation? Of course, right? I can't even think of a single one. Even Cade McNamara should have been the starting quarterback on this team as a true freshman way back in, 2019, I guess would have been his true freshman year. And so if they don't play him at all this year, I think you can just basically, in my opinion, just write him off as being an impact player. If he's that far away from being able to play college football as a true freshman. We're looking at Ohio State, right? They may have one of the top 3 or 4 receivers in all of college football, Jeremiah Smith, same age as Jaden Davis. They've got a player, Ryan Williams, who basically won the game against Georgia. 7 catches, 166 yards, and one of the most scintillating, sensational touchdowns I've ever seen. These players, Jack. The kid doesn't turn, how old, Jack? He's 17, doesn't turn 18 until February 9th, right? He skipped a senior year of high school. That's insane. So if these guys can make it, you're telling me Jaden Davis can't complete a pass past 5 yards because Alex Orji certainly can. I mean, it's pretty simple there, right? But why I wanted to address this because that's such a big audience, thousands and thousands and thousands of comments on YouTube Shorts on the actual video on Monday. But it really went viral as that just standalone clip. 304,000 views on Facebook and just thousands of comments on our Facebook page, facebook.com/HardGoBlue. Go check it out. But what people are saying, like 60-70% of the comments was people like, do they use their brain? Do they not? And maybe I'm talking to you, right? Are you using your brain? I'm not trying to be critical of you as a person, but people were just getting so mad that we'd say that. And I'm just like, what more do you need to see? That Michigan doesn't have a quarterback on this roster that's taken a snap this year that can get the job. Michigan, they can't get the job done. They don't have one that can get the job done on this roster to beat Oregon, to beat Ohio State again, to go to the college football playoff. And what does the future look like from here? So what I said is, okay, maybe there was a plan. I've yet to see anything verified, but people were just all in the comments saying his parents said that he couldn't play as a freshman. They couldn't play. He had to redshirt to learn the system, and that's the only reason he chose Michigan. I saw a few people say that. I'm like, was that the only reason? Michigan was kind of his favorite pretty much the entire time. Oh, he was going to redshirt. That was the deal they made. The deal made. Things have changed. All right, things have changed. You've got the lowest passing total for a starting quarterback. That's what Alex Orji has. The lowest passing total for a starting quarterback in Michigan football history through their first 2 starts, okay? Jaden Denegal hasn't got a single snap. We saw Davis Warren throw an interception every 8-10 passes, whatever it is. Jack Tuttle, we haven't seen anything of that. We're going to talk about him on Friday, so make sure you guys watch Friday's video with Jack Tuttle. Might be a little bit going on there in the future. So whatever the plan was, if it's true that Sherrone Moore said, hey, we don't want to rush him into it, and we're going to do this, and the parents like, yeah, that's what we want. We want him to learn the system, not get thrown into it, right? You've got an opportunity to be the starting quarterback for the national champions. I don't care what your deal was going in. If he can't even take a single snap in 5 games with quarterback play this bad, I'm just going to admit, I don't know what the future holds, and Michigan shouldn't be, handcuffed by some deal they made with his parents. He needs to go to his parents like, look, things are different. We didn't know that we would struggle this much at quarterback. We maybe aren't going to start him this there, but we got to get him in there, right? Even if it's just playing 4 games, and if the season's getting away from Michigan, you lose 2 or 3 games, okay, cool, we'll hold your red shirt. But if he's any good, he's not going to be around for 5 seasons, right? He enrolled early. He was with the team for bowl practice, going up to Alabama. He was at the Alabama game. He was at the national title game as a member of the team, practicing with Michigan. An early enrollee, he's not going to go through, 5 spring practice? No one ever does that unless you're Jack Tuttle and go 7 years as a college quarterback. So I don't know what they're holding back. If he's got the talent, and if Michigan's going to rely on him at this point, you have to. What is the quarterback options next year? It's either Portnoy goes and gets somebody out of the transfer portal, which he can't do for another, 2 months, almost 2 months to the day, early December, or it's got to be Jaden Davis because nobody else on this team can play quarterback for Michigan at a high level. Given what Michigan's going to lose off this roster this year, I mean, if you don't get this guy snaps, and I was just concerned with the level of excuse making that people were making for the coaching staff and for the player. If he can't get in there and complete a pass 10 yards downfield after being on this Michigan campus for over 9 months, got there in December, so it's only coming up on 10 months right now, then I don't feel good about the future with Jaden Davis as Michigan's quarterback. I'm just going to say it, okay? I'm not taking shots at the kid. I'm not saying he's going to be a bum. I hope he is successful. But I don't want to hear from the 16-70% of you that were just calling me names and taking shots and saying, this guy's an idiot, this guy's there. Well, you tell me what it means if you've got the worst quarterback situation in the Power 5 right now and your 4-star freshman quarterback isn't even good enough to get a single snap through 5 games. And if there's no plan to play him in the future, I don't know what that makes for the future of Michigan football. At the quarterback position, maybe that's why Sherrone Moore activated Dave Portnoy to go get Bryce Underwood, and we'll see what happens. That's all for today's show. Hope you enjoyed that little rant. We will be back on Friday, and then I think we're going to do a video on Saturday since it's a late-night game as well. Until we see you then, go Blue.